why do men even say it's not all men? How can they even say it's not all men? And then I give you a response based on statistics. I'm then immediately demonized as being part of the problem.
Hey friends, so I'm going to attempt to shut down this not all men thing once and for all. So buckle up, save this video, send it to every ding dong and devil's advocate and podcast bro and dude who claims to be a feminist or an ally or a liberal, but who when it really comes down to it are absolutely fucking not. Before I begin, this video is for educational purposes and is not intended to bully or harass anyone. Let's get into it. So for context, the video clip that I just showed is from a self-proclaimed ally who, when asked, how can you say, not all men when talking about the topic of essay and grape, and he responded by providing them statistics with how it's technically not all men. And what's worse is that this creator allegedly has a master's degree in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Which, I don't want to take away from that achievement. But if your response to that is not all men after all of that alleged education, I might ask for your money back. You say that you sharing these statistics in response to the conversation about male-perpetrated essay and grape is not to minimize any women's experience of pain. And yet, we are literally here telling you it does. You do not get to decide what impact your actions have on others. You can try your best not to cause harm, but if someone says you have harmed them, you have hurt their feelings, you have minimized them, you have marginalized them, the appropriate response is to apologize, listen to understand, and actively try to do better. The not appropriate response was what you did, which was to double down. And not just double down, but to do a lot of pandering in between in the hopes that maybe some folks will be distracted at the fact that you are doubling down. The reality is that the impact of saying shit like not all men or sharing statistics in a situation like this, whether you intended to or not, serves to downplay, dismiss, and detract from women's experiences. And those experiences are that 1 in 4 of us will be graped in our lifetimes. And we know that 99% of the perpetrators of said grape are men. But I know you know those stats already. So here's where I blow your mind. As women, we don't qualify our statements and say some men or a few bad apples for a very specific reason. It's the same reason why we say it's all men till it's no men. And that's because every one of you, that's right, 100% of you, benefit from, maintain, or contribute to the patriarchy that creates systems of violence that marginalize and brutalize women. Let me give you an example to help you out because I know this seems just simply unbelievable to you. A dude goes to a concert and ends up standing in line next to a woman who he thinks is cute. He wants to shoot his shot, so he tries to start a conversation and says, "What are you drinking?" And she just kind of rolls her eyes and scoffs and walks away. Now he is pissed. He didn't even say anything cheesy like you have nice eyes or a nice smile, and he definitely didn't say anything that would come off as pervy. So why couldn't she just have the decency to talk to him? Now let's think about what's driving that sentiment and what's driving his annoyance there. Part of it, however small and maybe unconscious, has to do with growing up in a society where men have been taught they are entitled to women's attention and affection and where their feelings and perspectives are centered above all others. And that sense of entitlement makes no man 100% safe to be around. Whether it's something as small as this passing feeling or a full-on violent rape completed with malice. Both of these things are part of the same system of male violence and domination. So when you say things like not all men, not only are you wrong, but you are helping to maintain that very system with your words. When you say nothing as your friends complain in the locker room about taking a girl on a date and not getting to sleep with her, or complain about how their wives never give them blowjobs anymore because they're too tired, you are part of the problem. No matter how passive or minuscule you deem this inaction to be, true allies watch other men and hold them accountable. True allies hold themselves accountable. They understand women's initial mistrust. They empathize, they listen, and they are open to feedback. They don't create videos about how, well, actually, they're right and they're the best ally ever. Instead, they do the work. They do the work to understand the harm they have caused and the harm and violence they are still capable of causing. And then they take action to change it. I'll leave you with this. At the end of your video, you say that we are insinuating that you are still part of the patriarchy, as if that's false, when the reality is that will never change. And I'm really surprised that you didn't learn that in your DE&I journey. As a man, you will always benefit from the patriarchy at the expense of women until it is dismantled. And that is no matter how good of an ally you think you are or actually are. Just like I, as a white woman, will always benefit from white supremacy no matter how much anti-racism work I do. And that's because these systems were designed that way. The bottom line is that too many self-proclaimed allies and feminists end up doing us harm. And so we're not just going to believe you when you say you're one of the good guys, because when it comes down to it, you have to show it with action. Precisely when you're put in an uncomfortable situation like this and challenged by something that women have brought to your attention. Anything less? Well, that's just not good enough.